got the cornfield calm, Midwest tone, but he's spitting facts like a dog with a bone. Lanky frame, fire-haired eyes on the case, breaking down the game and the darkest place. Sports scores to murder boards, Hoosier logic cuts like swords. From Friday lights to chalked out lines, this redhead's brain rewrites the lines. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the stories twist and stats unwind. He's a legend in flannel, mic in hand, digging deep where few can stand. From touchdowns to crime scenes raw, he's got the truth in every draw. Yeah, step in if you dare to find what's brewing inside the Hoosier mind. He'll talk Pacers, Colts, or Colts on trial. Hoosier humor with a devilish smile. He's that redhead sleuth with a box of clues. Takes your headline, breaks the news. With every stat and every scream, he's painting portraits in your stream. Don't blink, he'll tie it tight. From game night wins to murder plight. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the facts hit hard and the lines are blind. He's a ginger ninja, sleuth and slick, cracking cases play by play quick. From courtrooms to the hardwood floor, he digs for more than just the score. Tune in and don't rewind, you're deep now inside the Hoosier mind.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome into Inside the Hoosier Mind, brought to you in part by Military Broadcast Radio, helping give veterans a voice. Here with a very special guest, a gentleman by the name of Coach Victor Bennett. Coach and I have not done a show in a long time. We're like 3-4 years since Coach and I have done a show.
Nah, it ain't been that long.
I don't know, buddy. It's been a long time. I don't know. Have you ever done a show with me with a beard? I think you're used to be always being clean shaven, and I've had this for 3 years now. So
okay,
it's been a minute.
I seen it at the beginning stages, but that's the first time, man, seeing you with a full beard and listen to your intro. That's pretty good, man.
Thank you. That believe it or not, that is all AI from one of the other great podcast hosts here on this network. She was like, "Hey, I made something for you." It's like, "Oh," and sent it to me. And so she made the music, and then our guy Mike Hughes made the actual intro video for it. So
my boy Mike.
He did. My boy Mike. Yeah. But I appreciate you being on, good sir. For anybody who doesn't know Coach, you coach football, right? Down in Texas. Great guy, has always been really good about being the calm, level-headed person on one of our other networks that we were on, but he always kind of challenged and gave a better way of thinking of it and looking at it from a coach perspective, and like, look, this is how you got to look at things, this is how you got to take things. So I am excited for you to be on with me, good sir.
Oh, yes, sir. It's good to be on, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. So let's hop into it. So it's been a minute since you and I have done a show together. I know we kind of bounce back and forth between some comments of some mutual friends and whatnot about doing a show. So we'll throw that into our first topic. You know, what's your thoughts now on the new college football playoffs? I mean, we went from 4, now we're up to 12. There's rumors that they want to potentially expand that from 12 to 14, maybe even 16. The biggest thing that they're looking for right now, though, is who gets those 16 spots. There's a couple different formats out there that we don't have to go super in depth into, but I just want kind of your initial thoughts though so far. What do you think? Do you think expanding from 4 to 12 is a good thing? Especially, I mean, honestly, last year the playoffs were pretty entertaining overall.
Yes, I think it was good. I mean, it's just when you think of college, it's kind of like the NFL. It's all about the matchups, but you also got to understand these are 18, 19, 21, 22-year-old kids. Yep. And a lot of them it's how much they really, really, truly care about it. Mm-hmm. And now going to, when they had it to 12, now you have your top dogs. It's going to get to a point where I think they're going to go to 16. Why? Because of the money.
Yep.
You make way more money, especially you have a lot of them home games in the big powerhouse schools. So you're going to keep your SEC, your Big Ten happy. They're
Yep.
going to probably have the majority of them, and then you're going to sprinkle the rest to everybody else.
Yeah. The one that at least the Big Ten is pushing, the SEC is not as big a fan, but honestly, the Big Ten and the SEC have the most power over this. And that was actually given to them by the ACC and the Big 12 because they didn't want the SEC and Big Ten forming their own playoffs and branching out from them. So one of the proposed playoff formats is the Big 10 gets 4 spots, the SEC gets 4 spots, the ACC gets 2, the Big 12 gets 2. So now we're up to 12, and then the whoever is the best out of the group of 5 champions would get a spot. So that leaves 3 spots open for basically anybody else to be able to come into the playoffs. So that includes Notre Dame, who also signed off on this, and then 2 other spots. So I don't disagree. I think a lot of it is the attractiveness of those power 4 matchups between big brand, big teams, like you said, just like the NFL. Do you really want to watch the Jets versus like the Jaguars? Yeah, I mean, not really. You'll watch it if it's on, but it's not your marquee matchup. Or do you want to see like Alabama versus Ohio State? That's the money matchup that everybody wants to see. And obviously that leads into why all these conferences have now changed and look completely different from what they did. The Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. The fact that Oregon is now in the Big Ten, Arizona State's now in the Big 12. It's changed a lot of things. Keeping in line with that, with all of the changes now the last few years over college football, looking at the college football playoffs, do you have any dark horses that you think will sneak in? Because I mean, I think we all kind of have our favorites. Penn State, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Bama. There's a few others out there, but are there any that maybe you think people are sleeping on?
No, I don't really think it's a dark horse. I think now because of the money and everything, there's not really necessarily a dark horse. Because and on top of that, you really don't know because at any moment people be transferring. Like you don't know who's in the transfer report. Like you have to really, really be loyal to your team / deep into paying attention to NCAA like that. And like, he transferred in or he did this. But I think now because money plays a big role, I think the powerhouses are going to be the powerhouses because they have the money, to get the players. So a lot of times back then it was you would see a team come out of nowhere, you see a great athlete. I mean, you saw it with Boise State.
Yep.
They were good against who they played against, but when they went against they played against top dogs, it was like conversation over with.
Because they shut Ashton Genty down, and it was like you said, it's just game over at that point.
Yeah, because you can't match up. Like when a lot of times when you look at the big schools, the Texas, the Alabamas, it's not the skill guys, it's the linemen, it's the O line, it's the D line. Skill wise, everybody matched up together, but it's the big boys, and a lot of times you just can't match it. You can't compete with that.
Yeah.
And so I just truly believe that the whole saga about the dark horses and everything, no, they're not gonna win the national championship no time soon. Especially how it is. You're not.
Yeah, and that's fair. I do remember, it's funny too, and for anybody who maybe is wondering kind of what coach means, a game that to me really solidified that whole idea of basically the line of scrimmage and those lines dominating, whoever. I would say look at that very first game with Deion Sanders in Colorado against Oregon. And I don't know if you watched that, coach, or if you remember that. It was a couple of years ago. Their defensive line was like half the size of Oregon's offensive line, and you could tell it throughout the entire game because Oregon was just able to push and bully them around pretty much anything that they wanted to do on offense. And to me, that's probably one of the best things that you're showing on that is that it does make a difference. I would almost say, at least for me, the dark horses would probably be teams that I don't think people expect to make the playoffs. Now I'm in agreement. When you look at the powerhouses being powerhouses, and essentially what it funnels down to is how much money do they have to essentially pay their rosters more than anything and build their rosters and their coaching staffs. I kind of look at a conference that I think everybody, I don't know if anybody has a clear favorite out of this conference, and that's the Big 12. And I feel, to me, Joel Klatt kind of put it the best. All of these teams are essentially the same. Nobody is a clear front runner standout favorite of who's going to win the Big 12 and then who's going to represent the Big 12 as they move into the playoffs. And I say that because a lot of people may take Arizona State as maybe a repeat. He brought up a good point. When they lost Cam Scattaboo, that was kind of the heart and soul of their team. And that's something, and you can tell me if I'm wrong as a coach. You can always have skill quality players, you can always have the leaders, but it's hard to have that person that really, and I don't know if you see it as a coach, kind of drives your offense. It's like, man, when this guy's out on the field or in the huddle, the game moves differently with them there.
Yes.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong or not.
No, 100%. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I tell people, when you look across that field and you see that offensive player, it could be a quarterback, it could be a running back or a lineman, it makes you nervous because it makes you think about how you're going to call plays and everything else. Even as a defensive coach or coordinator, you're trying to stop them. And you look over there, you see how they moving around, they look real good. It makes you kind of scared and pivot a little bit on your play calling. Because what if you do make the wrong call and all of a sudden he's 88 out the gate and he spoke, like you said, you used Arizona State. Shoot, that game was over with against UT. At the beginning, it was like, he was like, oh, this is a wrap. But UT gave him hope. They gave him relief, and then it changed the whole game, changed the whole aspect. That's all it takes. Like, offensively, it's all about momentum. And once you get it, and then once whoever's your heart and soul, they believe in it, it's like it's smooth sailing because you have that confidence in it.
Right.
So a lot of times, offensively, even defensively, as a pass rusher or a D tackle, that D tackle can change the game because now you're talking about stopping the run up the middle, and on top of that, it's putting pressure in the quarterback's face.
Yeah,
that makes him hesitant if now he's seeing ghosts because he's seeing the pressure.
Yeah.
So a lot of those are big keys.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of it helps too, and again, I don't know if you see it as a coach or not. I think when you have a player like that that can make an impact, whether, like you said, if it's a defensive pass rusher, if it's a defensive tackle, or even like on the offensive side, if it's a running back like Cam Scattaboo, that takes the pressure then off of the wide receivers. That takes the pressure off of the quarterback because, okay, I know this guy is going to do great at what he does. If I hand the ball off, he's going to be solid. If I have to drop back to pass and if I need him to block an extra coverage, he's going to do his assignment. Or like a pass rusher, if I'm a middle linebacker and I've just either got to worry about my man if I'm in man coverage or if I got to worry about zone, like, man, I know he's going to go get to the quarterback. I don't have to worry about that. I just got to focus on me and my assignment. And then that's the only thing I got to worry about. And to me, I feel like that would almost simplify the game even more when you have those impact players to do that. It's like, man, I know this guy's doing his job. I don't have anything to worry about. All I got to do is just my job.
Yes. I mean, it works all hand in hand. If you have a good running back, that running back is going to make sure that the box is full. You're going to have 7, 8 people in the box. So now, again, that means all I do as a receiver, I just got to be my one-on-one guy. If I beat him, I can score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because there's no help over the top.
Right.
But then if you kill them in the pass, what happens? They spread everybody out. Now I can go back to the box.
Yeah.
Then I can even offensively, I can hit my play action. I have my tight end going down the seam because the safeties are coming up for the run. Because but it's and that's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize, the mind game, because they're humans. It's not like playing college, NCAA, the video game or Madden, where they're going to do exactly what you're supposed to do no matter what. No, they're kids.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you get to the sideline, you hear the coach, you got to come down and run. You got to come down and run. You got to do this. So when he sees it, boom, you flash it like that. Now you see the tight end running wide open.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about, that's the thing about football that you love. They're humans and they react.
Yeah, 100%. MJ coming in. So you may not know it, Victor, but MJ is actually a huge Penn State fan. So she usually comes in always saying we are. But I always have to mess with her. I always say something about go Tigers or something to that effect to give her a little bit of fun back. But anyway, to kind of get back though to who I think my dark horses are, at least for the Big 12, because it's like I said, to me the Big 12 it's all the same, and honestly you can make an argument for just about every single team in the Big
Yes.
12 that they might be in contention. The three I feel might, and I feel like you could plug any one of these three to me in the Big 12 championship. I've got Utah, I've got Kansas State, and I've got Texas Tech. And I say that purely off of their schedules. But there's a lot of questions on each one. For Utah, their three biggest opponents, they face Texas Tech, they face Arizona State, and they face Kansas State. Those are their three opponents that are ranked at the current moment, but all of them have to come to Utah to face them. Now, Utah's got a lot of questions as far as quarterback goes. Cam Rising is gone. They had a mess at quarterback last year. They were injured quite a bit. But if we know anything about Whittingham being a coach, the team's always well coached, team's always well prepared. And I mean, all honesty, you look at what they did in the Pac-12 the last few years, even when USC had Caleb Williams, Oregon had Bo Nix and whatnot. Utah was always there in the running and normally won the Pac-12, believe it or not, out of all of that. So they're usually pretty well coached. You look at Kansas State. Kansas State only has really two tough opponents aside from Utah. They've got Iowa State at the very beginning of the year in about less than a week, actually. And then they have Texas Tech. And then for Texas Tech, again, their only two really tough opponents, at least ranked right now, is Arizona State and Kansas State, but they have to go on the road to face those teams. So those to me are kind of my dark horses. I don't know if we'll get a 2 Big 12 team out of that conference into the playoff. I don't think so. I think it'll be just whoever is the conference champion. But again, I feel like with the Big 12 that the whole conference is just dark horses. Because I mean, Iowa State, again, you have a consistent coach. They have a quarterback that is going into his third season there, I believe. But they have to replace two NFL wide receivers on the outside. So how does that potentially look? But those are primarily my big dark horses. I think for the most part, the SEC is pretty solid. You may be able to argue South Carolina and Florida might be dark horses just because of how their seasons ended last year. They ended on high notes. I know for Florida, if Lagway can stay healthy, he can compete with just about all of them. Same with South Carolina. Now, I think for South Carolina, the thing that makes me wonder is now that people have film and can see what Lenora Sellers is going to do, now how do they plan and react to it? And has he adapted his game to be able to change that as well? But yeah, those are mainly my dark horse teams. Like I said, any that you think might just sneak into the playoffs. They don't have to do, they don't have to do an Ohio State, like run the gauntlet or run the table, but any team that you're like, they might make a run for it.
I mean, you go back to the Big 12. I mean, I think it's a crapshoot because, like you said, they all got their own issues. I mean, Texas Tech, talent-wise, is pound for pound probably one of the best. But guess what? For some reason, they always find a way to trick it off. No matter what. No matter all the years, they'll win a good one, and the next thing you know, they'll lose 3 in a row or something. Yep. I don't know why. Kansas State, they're a consistent team. I think right now they're probably be the best pick. If I had to pick one, I'd say I'd ride with Kansas State on that one. Utah, I think the style didn't fit how they offensively, the things that they did compared to being in the Pac-12 to being in the Big 12. I think their offense and the defense and the stuff they were doing was more beneficial in the Pac-12 than it is the Big 12. Because the Big 12 is really super spread. Like every team is, we're going to spread this thing out and we're going to throw it 40 times a game and then you see if you're going to try to match it. Yeah. While technically using the Pac-12, you only really had Oregon. Everybody else was kind of a pro set. So I got Kansas State out of the Big 12. Now, the SEC, I agree with you. It depends on Lagway. He's hurt right now. That's the one. And no one knows really what injury does he have. So I can't really put them in there. South Carolina, they showed a lot. Would you consider Ole Miss
my biggest question with them? They lost a lot of pieces on defense in the draft. Like I didn't realize how much. And again, I know it's for face value of what it is. Because obviously we've seen players, called first round picks and they've been absolute busts. And we've seen guys, be 6th, 7th round picks and they're wonderful. They had a lot of first round picks on the defense taken, and they lost Jackson Dart at quarterback. Now I have heard good things about their backup. I think he's like a sophomore for them, but he already has his master's degree. Yeah, he, if I remember his story correctly, he graduated high school at like 16, then went to college and has been with Old Miss and is already working on like his master's degree. He's super, super smart. And I know he got a little bit of experience last year, kind of in some garbage time games and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, I think Lane Kiffin can be a quarterback whisperer, but I felt like last year they kind of had the same thing as Texas Tech. They're always a stacked and talented team, but they always seem to choke when they shouldn't. You can honestly look at the game with LSU. They had LSU on the ropes the entire time. LSU came back and ended up winning it in overtime. The same thing. They end up, just blowing a game to Kentucky of all teams in the SEC. So, I mean, I think if they could take a step forward, they would. But I think to me, a lot of that comes down right now to the experience and to how well can they handle a pretty tough SEC. I don't have their schedule, but I can pull it up here in just a second.
I think that's the crazy thing. So when we talk SEC, when you pick a team, like what is considered a dark horse in the SEC? Because you say LSU, I mean, technically they're a top 25 team,
right?
So what is like? So how do we say a dark horse in the SEC?
I think so. Here's how I pick a dark horse in the SEC. I pick a team. So take Florida, for example. If I remember right, the over-under for their wins last year was only supposed to be like 3 or 4. And they ended up winning, I think, 6, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they made a bowl game.
So, I mean, they went above and beyond as far as how they did. Just going off of the momentum that they had last year and the fact that even with that, they were still competitive makes me think, okay, they might be more of a dark horse this year with that. Mainly because when I look at someone like Florida, they didn't lose a lot as far as talent goes, either to the transfer portal or to the draft. If anything, one of the few things Billy Napier has been good at, and we'll talk about this in the next topic, he has been good as far as recruiting goes. He's been great as recruiting, both in the transfer and straight out of high school. He's a great recruiter. So to me, Florida is kind of in that position to be young and be able to take that next step. So that's why I would consider them a dark horse. If I look at Ole Miss right now, and again, I know this is obviously subjective because this is based off of, how the teams did last year, but this is Ole Miss's schedule as far as their toughest opponents. So Ole Miss has to host LSU, who's ranked 9th currently. They have to travel to Georgia, who they did beat last year in Ole Miss. They have to travel to Norman to face Oklahoma. They have to host South Carolina. And then they also have to host Florida, second to last game of the year.
I mean,
and if Florida's hot, how does that end up going for them?
It's not a tough schedule, but again, it's one of those things. I just feel like when you say SEC and you say dark horse, I don't really believe it's not a dark horse because I don't, because they're all like this, but it's a pecking order, of course. I mean, it kind of changed now for Alabama, but you still now you have University of Texas, you have Georgia, LSU is hit and miss every once in a while. Texas A&M, they're gonna give you 7 wins.
They say they're gonna have like a top 5 recruited roster, but yeah, they're gonna give you 7 to 8 wins at most.
That's gonna give you 7 or 8 wins, like no matter what. Ole Miss, they're gonna find ways to trick it off. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. South Carolina came out of nowhere. It was a shocker because the quarterback played. So other than that, that's it. To me, like you want to say, Oklahoma or somebody, but it's not really. No, I don't. I think you see. I think a lot of these teams is, and that's kind of when I go back to, like, even if you say you want to go 16 teams in the playoffs, is SEC is very top heavy, just like the Big Ten is very top heavy. You
Yeah.
just you just kind of want to see the matchups of the possibilities if you go 4-4 with the SEC. You want to see Indiana, because they were good this year, go against a Georgia and see how they pan out, or whatever, or Penn State go against University of
Right.
Texas. So you want to see the matchups because you don't get to see them all the time unless you play in the video game. So, but I don't really think, like, when we say dark horse, it's kind of hard because, like, I would put LSU in that category because they stunk it up the last 2 years, but they're ranked number 9.
Yeah.
Like they're ranked number 9 because of what they have returning and because of the talent around. And it's like, hey, they're good because of that. But it's like, but then when it matters or the big games, they choke.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. But and like I said, it's one of those when I thought about this and I wanted to ask it, I was like, oh, because I feel like to me, like you pointed out, how do you evaluate a dark horse in the SEC? How do you evaluate maybe a dark horse in like the Big 10 or the Big 12? I always like hearing, what are people's criterias for, like a dark horse? Like you said, there's a pecking order in the SEC. So it's like, okay, are you shooting above where you're supposed to in the pecking order, or are you right about where you're at? Like you said with Texas A&M, I know everybody always has them super high ranked. To me, I'm like, nah, you're not middle, but you're like just above. Like you're not in the big dogs yet. You're right in the middle of the big dogs and middle of the pack, honestly.
Yeah, and that's just I think for me is, if you're not picked to win a national championship, to me, you're considered a dark horse because no one expect that to happen. And so, but when you look at it, I don't see A&M winning a national championship out of the SEC. I don't see Ole Miss, but I just asked the question about them.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, even Florida and South Carolina, I think South Carolina is maybe a year away of being competitive to play in the bowl and in the big championship, in the playoffs. But other than that, I just don't see it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. Mike did want to bring up he loves Ole Miss's jersey, and don't get me wrong, those powder blue jerseys do look good. I can't hate on him for that. He did have a real quick question for you. It's going to veer off of college here for just a second.
I know it.
But he wanted to know where you have Travis Hunter ranking in the Rookie of the Year conversation.
My honest opinions on Travis, and I watched him and I studied him. He's more of an offensive player than a defensive player. I think he's going to get more reps offensively, and I think he'll probably play like in the third line when he knows it's for sure pass.
Yeah.
My opinion on that. I don't have him high on the Rookie of the Year because they have a new offensive coordinator. So I got to see what his style is with what he has. Because I mean, he came from Tampa Bay. Like, when you got a guy, a Mr. 1000, you got to get him that. He's gonna give you 1,000 yards and catching. Then you had all the receivers underneath plus a running game. He doesn't have that in Jacksonville. So I'm really, really curious of how Trevor Lawrence is gonna be as a quarterback and the style of offense he's gonna play, because he doesn't have the receivers that he once had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have him. If I had to put him top 5, he's probably 4 or 5 in the Rookie of the Year conversation. My boy Mike Hughes.
I say, who do you just real quick? Who do you have above him? You don't have to say if they're like one or not, but like, who would you have?
I mean,
ranked above him?
I honestly believe it's gonna be a quarterback. Don't ask me why. It's just because I think that when you say Rookie of the Year, if a quarterback have a good year, what has he?
You ran 4 flat in the early 2010s.
No, not early 2010s. Like early 2005, 2006.
Okay.
I ran a 4.1. But anyway, that's besides the point. I gotta really, really pay attention to it because it's a hard. Because it's always gonna be a quarterback, more than anything that shines. So I haven't really looked at all the rookie quarterbacks because they haven't really been playing that much.
Yeah. Well, we can say you've got Cam Ward, but he's with Tennessee. So how how well is he going to be able to shine with the Titans and whatnot for where he's at.
Yeah, and they're gonna get. And I think, honest truth, if they win 6-7 games, they're gonna get Cam Ward because
Yeah,
everybody loves Cam.
yeah.
I mean, he's a great guy.
He
From what,
is.
so
Then you've got Travis, obviously. Then you've got Abdul Carter, but I think for Abdul, where I'm not going to say he might get overshadowed, where people might take things away from him, is he's got 3 other studs on that defensive line with him. I mean, it's pick and choose who you want to potentially hit the quarterback for the Giants. Like, that's one of the few bright spots that they have there. And then obviously you got Ashton Genty there too, as far as a running back goes. So I mean, I don't disagree. I feel like there is a lot of talent. I'll be honest, man. As far as a quarterback goes, like you said, if Cam does really well, I think you're right. I think Cam could run away with it. But man, being on the Titans though, like it's going to be rough for him to
but it's not.
be able
But
to pull
not.
that out.
Yes and no. I mean, you have what, the Texans.
You've got Texans, Jags, and the Colts.
No, don't do that. Don't put
Huh?
them in that. Don't put them in that conversation. I know this is the Indiana thing, but we ain't finna get on it. Don't you put no Colts.
Coach,
No
they're in the
Jags.
they're in
Come
the
on,
division. They
man.
got to face them twice this year,
Yes,
no matter what.
yes, and they're in the division. But who on either defense put fear in your heart?
Yeah, nobody.
Thank you. It's cool to say, oh, okay. You say the Texans, all right. They got a nice little pass rush. They
Yep.
don't play no game, man.
Mhm.
But you say Jaguars, say man, you second, third pick. You know,
That's true. That's
you're gonna be a top 5, top 10 pick.
right.
next year.
Right. Hey, I was just trying to let you know. I was trying to let you know your other options besides Cam. You know,
No,
just for the sake.
if I had to pick off right now, I probably would say Cam, because if he wins more games, or he doubles the wins that he did of last year, he's gonna get it, because he has the it factor. Like, everybody in the news love Cam, and that's really one of the biggest thing that matters, is how much they really love you as a person. And everybody's saying great things about him. They love what he does. He gets up there and he talks about, I come up here for 45 because my dad used to do it for a job he hates. And I'm doing something that I love. He's calling veterans out, not showing up and not doing this. It was a trash practice. Come on. So,
And I think too, his background story is where a lot of people like him, because he's kind of the epitome of the underdog. You know, he's a no-star recruit. You know, went to University of Incarnate Word. Balled out there, ended up getting to Washington State, made Washington State fun and relevant to watch the year that he was there, and then ultimately that ended up leading him there to Miami, where again, he balled out. Now I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple times I watched him, and he's like the hats off to that Miami offensive line, because he'd like start there. He's like, yeah, I'm just kind of chilling. I'm looking. And I'm like, buddy, like, look, like we know you're probably the best player on the field, but you ain't got to do it like that. You ain't got to scramble, but you ain't got to do it like that, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll hop into the last part of the college conversation, at least. So with college and with all these moves and whatnot, there's a few coaches that are on the hot seat, and I've got 5 that I have on the hot seat, but I want you to go first. However many you got. What coaches to you are on the hot seat for college football?
Man, I think they all on the hot seat.
All of them?
Yes. Because here's the reality. If you want to go, you can pick. Let's talk big. Man, think of Ohio State.
Yeah,
He was on the hot seat all the way up to the national championship.
Honestly, if he loses to Michigan again, I think he gets fired.
No, that right there, at least give him at least 2 more years.
Coach, I was in Ohio. I lived next to Ohio. Ohio State fans are nuts. If
I
you
know,
lose to
100%.
Michigan, it's no.
But
no.
And I think that's the beauty of, you look at these college teams, like, their fans is crazy. But I truly, truly believe we're gonna sit there and say that, you're gonna say, like, the top dogs, Alabama, he's on the hot seat. LSU, he's on the hot seat. Michigan, because if Ohio State, you beat Michigan, so you saved your job in a way. But they won the national championship,
right?
So it's kind of one of those things. But how college is set up now, like, it sucks being a college coach.
Oh yeah,
because now it's you have this involved. So when you have your boosters and everything else, and they're donating millions and
Mhm.
millions, they're trying to figure out like, hey, and you're getting the talent that you wanted.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
Why are you not winning?
Yeah.
So I truly think it's quite a few like Texas. They're not gonna get rid of him, but
No, they're
but a lot of schools, a lot of these coaches are gonna be on the high seat if you can't produce like you're supposed to. Like you said, Florida,
mhm.
you've been having all this talent. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
say I know he's kind of an honorable mention. And I think what saved him is the fact that they did so well last year and how well he can recruit. They stole a ton of people from Florida State. They've stolen a little bit from Miami too, but I mean, overall, yeah, I think that's going to save him. Um, I think another honorable
no,
mention
it's
is
not gonna save him.
I think it saves him at least for this year.
No, no, no,
I
no.
think it might. Because
I
here's
mean,
the other thing I think that is what hurts them is because you look at how long they sign these coaches to such big lucrative contracts. And it's not like and it's just like the NFL. It's like that all comes out of the owner and the school's pocket. So it's like if he's 10 years, $100 million, and they're paying him 10 million a year, they still owe him that money no matter what. And like you said, if your boosters are coming there like, okay, look, we just gave you, this amount of money to sign this guy. He's not the guy. We're also giving you money to try to get, better players to win and to be better. And now you're wanting to fire him and you want to bring somebody else in. Like, wait a minute.
man, it don't matter. Them boosters' money is not a thing. It's not an issue. You see it all the time. What'd you say at Texas A&M? You
Yeah.
always have a top 5 recruiting class, and guess what? You win only 7 to 8 games,
Yeah.
and each coach gets fired. Because what was I can't even think his name.
Jimbo.
Yeah, what he was 80 some million payoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what they do next,
Bye.
and look, and here's another 25 million for the recruiting class. Get some more coming. Like I think that's it's you put so much power now in the boosters because of the money.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about when you're saying these big powerhouse schools, you're talking about these are big money makers.
Yeah.
Like they're not. We ain't talking. We talking about billionaires that
Yeah.
have the money that can do it. I mean, that's the same thing. You go back to the Big 12 at Oklahoma State. He
Yeah.
took a pay cut because they was like, "Hey, man, we're giving you too much money."
Hmm.
So I think it's however these boosters feel. If these boosters feel that we are a top contender or we are a national champion, we should be playing in the playoffs and going 3 or 4 rounds deep. Now money talks
Yeah.
because we're spending this money to get these kids to come. So even at Florida, when you have Lagway, he's a great, phenomenal athlete.
Hmm.
I mean, I coached against him in his senior year in high school. He can throw the ball all across the field.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are expecting the exact same thing to happen in Florida.
Right.
And then it you're not winning.
Hmm.
They want to see their team in the playoffs.
Right.
Like that's what matters. Money, because the money to them, the money doesn't mean nothing. It's
Yeah.
the pride of their team. They go in their house and you see all the Florida Gators and you see all these things. Like
Hmm.
that's what's important to them.
Yeah. But
And tax write off anyway for half of them.
that's true. That's true. But no, I don't disagree because I know I've heard about him. Like I said, I think Ryan Day did save his job because of the national championship, but those Ohio State fans are nuts about losing to Michigan. Another one I've heard rumors about is Kalen DeBoer for Bama because obviously Saban moved on from coaching into their administrative department. Supposedly he's been more of the recruiting force behind the scenes than anything, and I do think to an extent it's kind of unfair to Kalen because I mean you come in as a program that's been dominant for 16 years. As much as I dislike Alabama, they've realistically the last 20 years they've been the gold standard as far as what to expect out of a program, the absolute domination, 6 national titles and whatnot out of them. Um, but the fact that the losses that you have, they were to really, really bad teams. I mean, they lost to Vandy, and then they got the crap kicked out of them by Oklahoma, which is nuts, by the way. And then they end up losing to Tennessee, which Tennessee's not as bad because at least Tennessee ended up going into the playoffs.
Yes.
But I mean, to lose to Vandy for the first time since 84, 88, one of the two, like that's bad. That's bad. And then yeah, you go to Norman and you lose 24-3 to an Oklahoma team that, honestly, Brett Venables is one of my for sure coaches that is on the hot seat right now. And I mean, even though last year they were riddled with injuries, wide receiver wise, they couldn't figure out the quarterback. I think defensively, because obviously that's his bread and butter, Oklahoma's pretty well done. Offensively, there's a lot of questions. Now I know they got John Mateer out of Washington State. I think he adds a new level to them and kind of a new little bit of spice to Oklahoma, but I think he's on the hot seat. I think Mike Norvell out of Florida State is, because to go from you went undefeated, your quarterback was hurt, to you got destroyed by Georgia, and then you won 2 games last year. Out of the whole year.
That's what's crazy. It tells you how great of a quarterback he had.
Yes, that whole time he was there.
Yes, but I think Alabama's going to be pretty good this year. I think he finally got a year coming into the SEC, and you being behind Nick Saban. Yeah. And it was a transition for a lot of people and even for himself, because he's trying to figure out who he is. He got his OC back. He got his OC back from Washington when he was in Washington, when they was doing, which was, I thought if he would have came, the offense would have been 20 times better.
Yeah.
Just because of the kids that you have.
Yeah.
And everything else.
I do have a little bit of questions though as far as their quarterback, and it's only because I haven't seen enough of this guy to be able to say yes, he's going to be good, or no, he's not. That's kind of my big question for him is what do they look like at quarterback?
I think they're gonna be fine. I mean, you still got the receivers.
That's true. That's very true. They say, I don't know if you know this or not, but Ryan Williams just turned 18. So I know they pointed it out last year. He's only 17 years old. Now he turned 18. So I don't know if they're going to keep highlighting that or not. I mean, dude is a stud. I can't hate on him as far as that goes. I think the other two others that I have though out of the SEC that I think are on the hot seat, I think Hugh Freeze is. But and I'm gonna say this too. One, because there's been a lot of pretty bad rumors come out about how bad of a coach Hugh Freeze is, at least from a player perspective. There's been a couple of disgruntled players come out on him. In his defense, though, I mean, you're Auburn, you're in the state of Alabama, and you have to compete recruitment-wise, everything like that against, the University of Alabama, which is a pain in the butt on its own. So it's like, I kind of get why they'd want to move on, but it's hard when you're essentially the little brother of a state to, topple big brother all the time consistently, not just on the field, but even off the field and everything else.
Yeah. But who would you get? Like that. So that's the question for Auburn.
Yeah, say that's the question. All honesty. So you remember how I said that I felt that Penn State should kind of move on from James Franklin? Just because, again, I don't feel like he can really win a big game that matters. Like, to me, that's my biggest thing of, well, if they get rid of him, who do you go get? Because I'll be honest, there's not really a whole lot of offensive and defensive coordinators, even collegiately, that I'm like, man, that guy makes his team really stand out amongst everybody.
If Penn State gets rid of Franklin, you guarantee Florida, Miami, give or take, Florida State, and Auburn will say they will kick rocks to their coach.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. He'll get a job, no problem. Yes. But like you said, who does Penn State then say, you know what, we think this guy can take us over the hump where James Franklin couldn't?
Yeah. And I wouldn't even, man, it's like I said, it's two things in nowadays. It's the money and it's the relationships that you build with these kids. Yep. And when you sit there and you look at it, Frank, he does a great job with the relationship with the kids.
Yes.
I just don't know when you say Hugh Freeze, I think you're living above your means. You think you're better than what you are, and you're not. Yeah. When in reality, Auburn, you're not. Auburn could be a dark horse. Like
they could be. Yeah.
Auburn wins 9 games, and you're like, congratulations. That's a good year.
That's a great year for them.
Yeah, as So I think that's one of the biggest things is like the top dogs, the top teams, it's like who would you go after? Like, all right, who are we gonna get? Who's gonna replace?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't disagree. Now, one, I think they are going to fire their coach, barring them having just an absolute crazy, crazy season. I think Wisconsin fires Luke Fickell. And I think a lot of that was due to the fact of they completely changed their identity from what Paul Chryst had of, run first, dominant defense to Luke Fickell wants to try to spread the ball out a little bit more, like he did at Cincinnati. And I think just kind of the bad luck of the draw with Wisconsin being in the Big Ten, doing that transition, not being as winning, and so it's not as attractive of a destination anymore for some recruits. I think to me that's kind of going to go away. And I know you're looking at me weird, like you said, money speaks more than anything. So I mean, it may not be the sexiest place to go to, but if you pay me enough, I'll try to make it sexy as best I can.
I mean, well, let's sit here and talk about it. It's in Wisconsin. It's cold as hell.
That too.
It's cold as hell. So if you're trying to get some real athletes, you're gonna have to trick some money because I know for a fact that's like saying, hey, where do you want to go? Would you rather go play football in Wisconsin or Florida?
Right.
Any of the teams in Florida.
Right.
I'm gonna take Florida, Wisconsin, or Texas. You can even say Wisconsin, even Ohio State and Michigan. Because there's, because of the weather. I think when you think of Wisconsin, I think cold. So it's like,
it's super cold.
He won't get them dynamic athletes because depending on, I've never been to Wisconsin, but if it's that kind of cold, it hurts your bones because you don't want to. Ain't no receiver want to be catching bricks.
Let's put it this way, Coach. Being from the Midwest, and my ex-wife was from Wisconsin. If you go from like -10s, -20s to you get into like the 30s, that's shorts weather, brother. You could throw some shorts and flip-flops on, just be rolling into town, no problem.
And that's what I'm saying. How you think Texas and Florida, man, if it's below 60, it is freezing.
Oh, that's still shorts weather. You go about shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top, man.
Nah, man. So I think again, that goes back to you picked a coach and he picked that school to where it's probably because he made they offered some money.
Yeah.
You're trying to change the area that you don't have the athletes for.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take 3 or 4 years, or you gotta have some kind of swag. I mean, you take Colorado, he gets skilled guys, and it's cold, but he has a little swagger to his prime time. He has a swagger to make you want to go out there and be like, oh, this is exciting, this is fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say fun in Wisconsin.
Exactly. Well, and Luke Fickell doesn't have that name either, because like you said, at least Dion can say, hey, I'm an NFL all-time great. I'm a Super Bowl champion. I've done great as far as coaching goes. You come play for me, I'm gonna get you in the right state of mind. And all honesty, I know a lot of people hated when Prime first came there. I thought he did great. I mean, he took a 1-win program. He had to gut it because I mean you can't keep a lot of that there because obviously they weren't good enough to win more than one game. Now that may not all be on the players by no means. That's probably also on the coaching. It's got to be a 50-50 split. But nonetheless, though, he had to install his guys. They did a bunch of the transfer portal and whatnot. A lot of people hated him for it. I'm like, like you said, he's got to do what he's got to do to be able to build his locker room, build his environment, build everything that his culture there for it to be able to be successful. And obviously a little bit of a rough first year there, but then last year they won 8 games last year. They were technically in contention for the Big 12 championship.
Yeah. But that's how you have to be nowadays. Because if you're talking about you trying to create a program like I said, you take Wisconsin. What is the glamour? What is the shine?
Right.
And the thing about it was Dion. His son did his social media and everything. So you saw personalities about him, you saw things about him, you saw the shine. He gave people NIL deals, like all those things. It made me like, oh, I want to go there.
Yeah.
And you have to have it because if you don't have no charisma, you don't have no shine or nothing. Why am I going? Like, what will motivate me? Like, my son's 17 years old. Wisconsin come talk to him, come play football.
Yeah.
What will motivate him to go if he has multiple options somewhere else?
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I'm in Wisconsin. All right, Luke Freak. What has he done? Like
Right.
what swagger does he have? Like
Yeah.
is he cool or whatever? I
Yeah.
mean, and I think that's the thing that what people got to realize. Now it's a difference when he goes, here you go.
Yep.
I was like, Wisconsin sound kind of good
Yeah.
now.
I can do with a little bit of cold. Ain't no big thing.
Yeah, but and I think that plays the role that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to colleges. Like you're not getting when at Wisconsin. Why are you big on defense? Why are you big on running the football, pounding out people's throats? Getting skilled guys like that want to sit
Yeah.
out in the cold and catch bricks. That ball is hard.
Yep.
It's hard. You're talking about 30-degree weather.
And taking hits in that too, like that. Those hits hurt a
Yes.
little bit more, especially if you hit that hard ground when it's cold. That hurts a little bit more.
Yes.
But then honestly, my last kind of big name coach that I think honestly is on the hot seat, and it's the very first game of the season is going to determine how hot his seat gets. And I think it's Brian Kelly for LSU. Like they have not won an opening game in 5 years. They're 0-5 in the last 5 seasons in season openers. You know, UCLA, 2 times to Florida State, USC. There's somebody else that they lost to in an opener. I can't remember who, but they lost a lot of opening games, and now they start the year off. They have to go to Clemson to face them. And I think honestly, if that ends poorly with a loss, Brian Kelly's already on the hot seat to start the year. And then, like you said, you know, LSU's dark horse. They don't make it into the playoffs. At least I think Brian Kelly's time in the Bayou is done.
I mean, I can't argue with that because LSU, the biggest issue for LSU now is you say recruiting. You kind of LSU owns Louisiana, but you had a big piece in Texas.
Yep.
But now you messed up. You got University of Texas in the SEC. You got A&M right there. So it's kind of one of those things where like, what was the shine? What was the glitter of going to LSU? Why would I go there and I can just go to University of Texas now?
Well, and the other thing too that I look at, you had a Heisman winning quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and you had all these first round talent wide receivers with him, as far as, you know, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh yeah,
Eddie Lacy, you know, or Tyron Lacy, all of them, and you haven't made the playoffs once. Like that has a problem.
That's because they were out there playing 7-on-7. It was
That's
just
true.
Like, you look left, they break LSU score a touchdown. Well, here comes the other team.
Oh yeah, because that defense is awful. That defense is like a paper bag.
God. What happened? Because usually it's DBU at LSU. Now it's like, hey, you can score. You can score.
Yeah, you get a touchdown. You get a touchdown.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'll move on to the last topic as far as the NFL. I'm going to be honest. This might be kind of a boring one because at least after the offseason and the draft, I don't see a whole lot of changes. Like, I don't see a whole lot of new teams making the playoffs that didn't make the playoffs last year, to be like fully transparent. And to maybe help you and for anybody else that's watching, KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston, Chargers, Steelers, Broncos all made the playoffs last year for the AFC.
Okay.
For the NFC, the Lions, Eagles, Bucks, Rams, Vikings, Commanders, Packers. Like, I'll be honest, out of all the other teams that didn't make it, there's maybe like 2, maybe 3 that I could say, yeah, they might be able to replace one of those wild card teams, maybe. Good to see you too, Terry. I appreciate you watching and tuning in.
You don't like Cincy?
I like Cincy, but Cincy has 2 great LSU players that unfortunately play like LSU. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow is probably going to drop 42 points on you. That defense, however, is going to allow 43 points, and Cincy's going to struggle.
I think Cincy figured out a formula.
Oh.
And I'm very curious of what they're going to do. One, they got the offense playing through the preseason. It's like, hey, we can't have them out and then we go lay an egg in the regular season. So that's
especially the first 2 games, because honestly, that's what really hurt them. They lost to the Patriots and then they lost another one, and it's like, whoa, like Joe Burrow always starts off slow for whatever reason in the NFL.
Yes, I think what they're gonna do, Cincy, I'll take that back because we're talking about Cincinnati. They do stupid stuff. What I would do, because I was thinking about it, and I don't know what made me think about it. What I do is, if you notice, they dropped it. They drafted the defensive end, the D lineman from A&M.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart.
I would draft every year first round be number defensive players because now the biggest thing about it is that they'd be on the rookie contracts.
Yeah.
Then when they get good enough, guess what I do? I just trade them off because I know offensively I'm good because I spend all my money on offense. Every year I get another look. I get another defense linebacker. I get another rush. That's all I focus on: linebackers and defensive line rush. Because we already know he's not going to pay the defense.
Yeah,
he's not.
Heck, he had trouble signing just his rookie that he doesn't have to pay very much money to.
Yes. So I will do that. I will spend majority of my time every year. My first 2 or 3 rounds, I'll be drafting defensive players. So now I know offensively we'll be fine. All I need to do is just make sure I have a pass rush. And then guess what? When they get too big or too high, just trade them off. Give me some more draft picks. Start the process over again. That's just the best, smartest way you could do it because you already got if you're gonna believe in your offense. But I like Cincy. I got to see. I haven't looked at the schedule for Denver yet. I want to know who they play. I need to know who they play.
Okay.
But I think Cincy will creep in there because I think the North is the strongest. Not the North. Yeah, North is the strongest division in the AFC.
Yeah.
And then followed by the West. I mean, the South is the South. So
yeah. Okay, so for the Broncos, so this season they take on Tennessee, the Colts, the Chargers, Cincy, Philly, the Jets, the Giants, Cowboys, Texans, Raiders, KC, Washington, Raiders, Packers, Jags, Chiefs, Chargers.
So I think the West is going to lose one of the teams because they get to play the NFC East. I mean, Eagles are going to be good. Commanders. I'm sorry, Commanders going to be good, and New York. They're gonna have a defense. I think they're gonna shock some couple people just because of the defense alone.
Yeah,
I mean Russ gonna give you what he's gonna give you. He ain't gonna give you nothing special, but he's gonna maintain.
Yeah.
So I think Denver will be out before the Chargers, and I think Cincy will take that one.
Okay. What about the NFC side? You see anybody taking any of those spots?
What's the final 4? The last 4. I know the top 4.
Let's see. Last 4 is
the Rams.
It was for the NFC. It was the Vikings, the Commanders, and the Packers, and technically the Rams are the last division.
I don't know about the Vikings, man. I don't trust the quarterback.
Yeah, I say I have a lot of questions as far as JJ McCarthy goes because again he hasn't played in a year, and he wasn't that big of a passing quarterback at Michigan anyway.
Thank you. Like I didn't see him throw. I'm like, I don't remember him throwing the football. I remember him handing the football off. But I don't remember him throwing. Like he was like, ooh, that arm. He's deadly. Like So I just don't trust. I don't trust the quarterback at the Vikings. He has to show me, and we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
and we haven't seen him make a throw, so we'll throw him out. But then you sit here and look. It's like, who you gonna put in?
Yeah,
because it's not like it's a.
Because Sam Darnold moved on. They didn't sign Aaron. Aaron's with Pittsburgh, so I mean, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know who you put in the NFC. Because I like the Rams. I think the Rams are really going to be good offensively. Now they had a young defense.
You think so? Here's one I think I would almost switch maybe with the NFC. You could probably switch the Vikings and maybe the Falcons, only because of the fact that they're in the NFC South. I'm not going to say they're going to win the South because I think it's Tampa's to lose.
They're not going to win the South.
But I mean, you do have the benefit of you've got New Orleans and Carolina to beat up on, and it'll be the first full season for Michael Penix to really be under they've got solid offense because you've got Bijan, you've got Drake London.
Oh yeah.
If Kyle Pitts can figure it out, or if they can have an offensive coordinator figure Kyle Pitts out, I mean, you've got a stud at tight end.
He's
And then defensively, they had a lot of questions as far as their pass rush, but they went and got 2 big draft picks, to try to fix that. And their secondary is solid. So I mean, they could be. I'm not gonna say they will.
Who does the NFC South? I haven't looked at it yet. Who does the NFC South play outside of the division in the AFC and the other NFC team?
So they face the AFC East and the NFC West. So really, you have to worry about the Bills and the Patriots. To me, I mean, the Dolphins, if Tua's healthy, maybe, but maybe.
You said the Patriots. Lord, give me strength. Don't put them in.
Hey, come on. They got to have some type of hype. I mean, Drake May's second year. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Mike Vrabel. They should be a little better. I ain't gonna sit here and say the Patriots go sneak in and do anything. They should be better.
And don't get me wrong. Mike Vrabel was a great coach. He is a great coach. He's a great motivator, and I believe in him and everything else. When he was at Tennessee, I didn't see him do anything in the playoffs.
That's very true. That's very true.
I see him choke.
That's very true.
And I'm not putting my stock. I'm not putting my stock on the Patriots right now because they let them spend a little money. I give them that. They let them spend a little money. They didn't do it with the last coach. They were like real cheap. So, but that's neither here or there. I'm not putting them in that category. They're at the bottom. They're not the bottom of the barrel. They at the bottom though. They there. Let's keep them over there. But now, I guess I can go with ATL because I don't see. I think unless you say I don't even trust Seattle, I don't see the 49ers. 49ers got rid of all their offense. Cardinals
and their defense. And Cardinals have too much to work on. Seattle, again, you got Sam Darnold. We saw what he did first time in the playoffs.
Yeah,
goose egg.
You throw them out of the picture. I see the Rams conference to win. I don't trust the Cowboys. Never would trust the Cowboys. You got the Commanders, of course. You got the Eagles. They're the top two teams. Yep. The Giants, they're gonna be the Giants.
Yep.
I mean, for my boy, I'm gonna say this. For my
Bears?
boy,
the Bears?
Mike Hughes, I need Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes know this better than me. Who is the defensive coordinator for Chicago Bears? Because that's going to be
Dennis Allen. Yeah.
They're gonna be all right. I think I will take. I'm not that sold on them. No? I'm not. No, because it would sound good. Then I was like, you know what? I'll take the Bears over the Vikings to get the final spot. Because I don't see. You mean it's gonna be a battle. Like you said, out of Atlanta and the Bears. Mm-hmm. And who does the Bears, the division in the North? Who do they play again out of AFC and the West? I mean AFC and the NFC.
Yeah. The Bears take on the NFC East and the AFC North. So they got a little bit of a tough schedule because I mean they got to face Philly, they got to face the Commanders, they got to face the Ravens, the Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns.
No, we're gonna ride. You know what, Mike? I love you. You my boy. ATL, shouty. We gonna ride with ATL. I did not. At first, I was like, it sounds good. I saw who they had to play. I don't think they're ready for that. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta. Atlanta's they have an easier walk. But I truly believe Carolina is gonna be all right. I remember it's funny when speaking of that, when we used to do touchdown crew and everything else, and then I was talking about how the quarterback for Carolina, I said he's gonna be all right. Just got to give him some time. And now everybody's like, oh my God, he's good. So
I'm not gonna lie. So here's what I say, and I think I've told you, and I think you even might have heard before. I do have a theory about quarterbacks that come out of big power conference schools like Bama, like Ohio State, like Georgia. they don't really know how to struggle. And I say that because, you look at Bryce Young, who he went to school with at Alabama. He had first round talent everywhere, all the way around him. Now don't get it twisted. They still struggled, but he had first round talent everywhere, all on that team. And then you go to Carolina. Who they didn't have nothing. They traded away like their best players.
I think with Bryce Young, I think he's different. Like, it's a lot of times when you look at quarterbacks and you look at certain players, it's what makes them who they are.
Yeah.
And it's not always for a lot of guys, oh, he has a big arm. Oh, man, nobody cares about, oh, he's fast. It's more to it than that. It's what makes him who he is. And a lot of it was his composure, how comfortable he was in the pocket, even at Alabama. I mean, shoot, what was that? They played Georgia, how he was scrambling and rolling and moving out of the pocket, and he took the licks. So I was like, I see a lot of good things out of him. I just know it was probably going to take a lot more time because you got to look at it. Look who you're throwing out there. You're like, man.
Oh, yeah.
Where they at?
Yeah. What's your name again? I don't even, you ain't even been on roster long enough for me to know the name.
Yeah. So now it's like, okay, now you start getting him some toys. He just never had toys out there at Carolina. But I like Carolina. Like I said, I'm with you now. I gotta go to Atlanta. I don't trust the Vikings. And I think Michael Penix is better than the Vikings quarterback.
JJ McCarthy. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't disagree. And I will say too, I'm not sold on Bryce Young, but I will give credit where credit is due. He took that benching actually extremely well, because if you look at how he came back after, he's a completely changed man. And I mean, the stats and everything like that showed and proved it. So, I mean, I will give him credit. It seemed like he really took that. And to an extent too, I think he needed it. Because I mean, you throw a guy like that into the fire, like you said, throwing to a bunch of no names and expecting, magic or something like that to happen. That, that can kind of kill your confidence and whatnot. So it's like, I think he needed that little bit of a break, let somebody else take the hits, take the licks, be able to, step back, look at something, no pressure. And okay, now I can come back out here with a rejuvenated mindset, new set of fresh eyes, and now we can tackle this thing a little bit differently than before. So I'll give him credit where credit's due as far as that goes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I don't disagree, good sir. I mean, like I said, looking at them, I would probably switch Atlanta with Minnesota. I think Washington will probably go back again.
You got them winning the NFC East?
I don't have them winning the. Well, if it's the NFC East, it probably, because the NFC East hasn't had a repeat winner since 2004. So I mean, theoretically, Washington is in line to win the division again. So I mean, it's there.
If Scary Terry plays, they will win it.
If he plays, that's the big question.
If he doesn't play, wrap it up.
But we'll see. And then the AFC side, I do agree. I think Denver might be the odd man out, because the Chargers should be better. I mean, they were 11-6 last year. They added a lot of good pieces free agency wise, and obviously, if we know anything about Jim Harbaugh, he only gets better as he stays with the team for longer. I mean, he did it with San Francisco and whatnot. Actually, you know what? You can take Pittsburgh out. I don't think Pittsburgh wins 10 games and makes it in the playoffs. Not with Aaron Rodgers. Not with the Aaron Rodgers we see now. There's no, like, other than the fact that I watched him at Iowa, I don't know who their running back is. His name's Caleb Johnson, because they let Najee walk in free agency. You traded George Pickens, so now the only guy he's really throwing to is DK Metcalf and their tight end Pat Freiermuth. Offensively, is it still that one dude that was the head coach of the Falcons that was just terrible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So now that's out.
You're saying that, but you got to realize, old Mike T realized I just got to win 10 and I'm in. And guess what I do have? I have a good secondary. I have pass rush. I need to play. I got to pay my nose. Pay the nose tackle, Mike T. Give him his money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby Watts. He said he got paid, so he got a new move. He's gonna bring it out.
But you know what the crazy part is? Because I heard this earlier. Somebody brought it up. The last 4 years, Pittsburgh has spent the most money on defense, and they've never had a top 5 defense out of it.
I mean, it's hard though.
It is.
The offense has been trash.
That's very true.
I mean, like when you say a top 5 defense, I mean, what is that? What are we talking about? In scoring? Or are we talking about yards?
I think scoring and yards, but they supposedly they've been terrible against the run, which I think is what really has been killing them as far as like hurting them as far as being a top 5 defense is not being able to stop that run game. Because if you're the other team and you can run for a first down, oh man, you can keep that defense on the field for 8-9 minutes. You can milk that clock.
But I don't know. My question is this: what game have you watched them defensively and said they cost us the game last year?
Oh, they haven't. Yeah, they haven't.
It's really been the offense. You're like, oh my God, Russ, what are you doing? Russ, throw the ball. Russ, come on, run.
Yeah.
So
it's between him and honestly, I felt like I'm kind of surprised they didn't go back to Fields, honestly, because I mean Fields went 4-2 with them as a starter, and then obviously Russ went 6-5.
Nah, 100%. I agree with you. I don't know that I mean, there's a lot of things that they did that was dumb. Like I wouldn't have waited on Aaron Rodgers that long. I would have just rolled out the road with Fields and say, hey, we're gonna have a little spread triple option going on.
Yeah.
And ride out. But I mean, that's why they get paid the big bucks.
That's true. But I think Pittsburgh gets out. I think Broncos gets out. I think you could put Cincy in there. Again, the biggest question mark though is that defense. Man, then after that, like you gotta have one more team. Like
who you adding? No. Hell no.
I say, one team I think will make it. They're not going to do anything, but I think we'll make it. Miami. Again, hear me out, coach. Hear me out. Again, I ain't saying they're going to run no gauntlet. They're going to be a first round bounce like always.
Now I'm gonna say this. Because
it's cold. But I mean, you got Tyreek, you got Jalen Waddle, like you got a fairly decent defense.
I'm gonna say this because I'm biased towards Miami. Just for the simple fact of the matter, there's 2 kids from my hometown that play on the team. Taj Washington, he plays on it. Hines, he plays on it. He's the O-line. So Taj Washington plays receiver. So I'm not gonna speak bad on Miami.
Yeah,
because they got my boys in the league making good money.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak bad on them, but hell no, they were not. They're not. Because you know why? Here's the issue with Miami, and I truly believe this. You're good from the 5 going out until you get inside the 20. Because guess what? You have nothing but midgets out there. All your receivers is 5'9" and under. They're all 5'9" and under.
That's true.
They're fast. They're good out there. Guess what? Your running backs. They're all fast, but they're not pounding ground. So the thing about it is you offensively, you're running shoot. You're spread. So inside the 20, you're not as good. You're kicking a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
And so, but being a team like that can't really truly run the football, the clock stops a lot.
Yeah.
And put a wear on your defense. So no.
So okay. So then to me, if we're really counting the Broncos out, which I mean, honestly, at this point, you could maybe say they might even be back in. They just might, flip and be the last seed again. There's only 2 other teams that are a maybe. And again, you're probably going to give me a lot of crap when I say them. You probably already know who one of them is.
Go ahead.
So if you don't think that Miami can make it, I mean, realistically after that, maybe Indy. Because, I mean, Indy, you got to think of how Indy is set up and how they do. Without a quarterback, they're good enough they can win 8 to 9 games. They're going to miss the playoffs, but they're going to be right at middle of the pack because they got a defense that can at least carry. And when Jonathan Taylor wants to be, he can be a solid running back when he wants to be. Other than that, coach, like the other team, I'm just going to throw their name out there because, again, who they got at head coach, they have a potential rookie running back that could maybe break out, and they got an experienced quarterback is the Raiders. I don't know who Geno's throwing to other than Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, but maybe. Other than that, man, you like you said, I can't sit here like Tennessee's not, Cleveland's not, Patriots ain't, Jags ain't, Jets definitely not. So,
I give you the Raiders before I give you the Colts. But
really,
for some reason, I knew you were gonna talk about it. You had to bring Indiana team in here somehow. Somehow it had to be an Indiana team. So I don't know why, but I guess
look,
it's inside the Hoosiers' mind. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens.
It is. But again, I'm just saying, living here, watching a lot of it, not getting sucked into the hype by no means. Like purely from an objective standpoint, they always do well enough, even with a rotation of quarterbacks.
But you
It's
don't have
almost
a
always
quarterback.
like the last game before they need to get the
But
quarterback.
that goes back to what I said earlier about Cam Ward. You're in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for some reason, I don't know why, you always play well against who you always play well against. The Texans are, you always, no matter what, you can have third, fourth string quarterback, and it's always gonna be a close game.
Yep.
So, but I just don't, man. I don't see it. I just really don't. Like I said, I ride with you with the Raiders. I give you the Raiders, but I still see maybe the Broncos coming out. I still like Pittsburgh because he's gonna give you 10 wins.
That's true. And say Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Yeah.
He's gonna get that. I can't go. We'll put Broncos as the bubble team, but that's it. Like the AFC is super top heavy.
Yeah.
With their teams. Like you're gonna have your 14s, and then we say that, but in reality, it's not that they're super top heavy. There's only one heavy team, and that's Kansas City. The rest, everybody else is here.
Yeah.
So they're all invited to the Kansas City invitation.
Right.
At the end of January.
It's just can they do it?
Yeah, but nah, man. I'm not putting Indiana. No. I know this is the Indiana show, but no, sir.
No, sir. Indiana, no Miami. All my AFC picks shot down, except Cincy.
No, because they're not good.
That's true. That's true. Well, like I said, that's where I'm like I didn't really see a whole lot of changes other than what Minnesota and maybe Atlanta. That's about all the changes I can see.
Yeah, but always in the NFC, there's always some crazy team come out of nowhere. But when you sit here, you talk to AFC, and you sit there, we talk about Mike Tomlin. I mean, he's average.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, his defense never been top 5. They spent all his money. Well, he knows. If I can win one or two games between Cincy and Baltimore, I know I could beat Cleveland because they're gonna always find a way to trick it out. And then if I can win one of those two, guys, all I gotta win is 7 games out of the conference. I win 7 games. Guess what? We in the playoffs again.
That's true. So before we wrap it up, I do have to ask your opinion on something, because you seem to like my take on JJ McCarthy. So I want to ask your opinion on a quarterback that was drafted that a lot of people say was drafted way too late as a mistake. And you already know who I'm talking about. So here's my thoughts on Shedeur, right? I think he's good. I didn't think he was first round talent good. And I say that because hear me out. So he goes to Jackson State with his dad and they ball out, right? But I kind of look at it as you're the big fish in a little pond at that point. Like you're gonna ball out, right? At Jackson State. So he's solid, he balls out. Now you move up to the next level, you go to Colorado. Again, you're having to take a really, really bad team and try to make it good. You're not going to be able to do that first year, almost no matter who you are. That's an impossible task. So they go 4-8, no big deal. Next year he goes 8-4. He takes them even better. So he progresses. He gets better and better. I'm not going to take that away from him. Now, obviously, there were some questions about his off the field stuff, his attitude and whatnot, which, that's kind of subjective. I feel like everybody kind of grades that differently as far as, we can deal with this, we can kind of handle this. I would probably argue he was maybe like a 3rd round pick, because I think I do think he has the talent. I think the potential is there. I don't look at him and say, man, you did enough in college for me to argue that if I put you in, you're going to turn my franchise around, from day one. I don't think he should have been 5th round, but I don't think he was 1st round talent. That's just me. I'm not going to say he's a bum, but I didn't have him as a 1st round pick, because I'll be honest, this last quarterback draft class to me was not great. Like, Cam was solid, but there's even been a lot of people said that if Cam was coming out in, this next coming year's draft with all the quarterback prospects that are supposed to be good, he probably wouldn't be the number 1 overall pick.
So let me ask you this. Who's the best quarterback in this up and coming draft that's supposed to come out?
All honesty, I can give you 5 names, but I'm not going to sit here and say that they're definitively like the best quarterback coming out, by no means.
Well, give me 5. Top 5.
So you got Cade Klubnik out of
Who
Clemson.
Is that?
He's the Clemson. He's been there for 3 years. He's been solid.
Okay.
You got Garrett Nussmeier for LSU. Last year for being 1st year, pretty solid. Have to see how he does this year. A lot of people have Drew Raller up there for Penn State, just because he started the last 2 years. He's coming into his 3rd. So you got him. Who was the 4th?
Where's Archie? Archie's not in the conversation?
Nope. He said he is not going to go in next year's draft.
If Archie was going out of the draft, would he be in the conversation?
Probably. I think a lot of people, just because of his name, is going to have him at 4.
Okay.
Why?
So why do you think? Because of his name?
Well, so here's why I say that. So you look at the lineage that he comes from. You got his grandfather. You got Arch. Peyton was a 1st round pick. Eli was a 1st round pick. Barring anything, injury wise that wasn't supposed to happen. The theory is Cooper was supposed to be a 1st round pick. So like, he comes from that whole line, and we've seen it with the NFL. Like, if you got that family name with you, that raises up even higher.
So here, I'm gonna let you get your last one. You got one more.
Oh, dude, damn it.
Oh no, you know what? We'll leave it at 4.
I say I got 4, man. I'm like, you going to really make me reach for 5th.
So we'll leave it at 4. So I'll start with Archie first. Here's the comparison. You can't sit here and say about Shedeur that he came from Jackson State and then he went to Colorado. He played 2 years. And when Arch Manning, not Arch Manning, how many games? In a game where he played maybe 3.5 games, he probably done over maybe 200 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
But you say, well, his name, because he came from that tree. But then you look at Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
You look at, it's not Shedeur, because if anything, I would say this: if you ever notice the thing about Shedeur really doesn't talk as much as his dad.
That's true.
And like, if you look at his brother, his brother talks way more. His brother,
Shiloh
acts way like his dad.
Yeah, he does. But Shiloh's also a defensive back, so I mean that he's fallen in that role.
And he's funny but Shiloh's like the forgotten son.
Yeah,
he's you're the non-athletic one compared to
it was like Shedeur and Travis were like, and Travis isn't even his son, and they're like, nah, you're 2 boys. I'm like, Shiloh's just out here in the cold.
Yeah, so he has that attitude. So but a lot of it is when you see Sanders on the back and you see his dad, and if you really think about it, majority of talking, it was his dad. You never really say Shedeur say, I'm not going there. I don't want to go there. He would say, I just want to get drafted.
Right.
And even after the game, when you heard him talk, it was one of those things where it was a respect factor. He played okay,
mm-hmm.
but I gave him credit in my mind, I was talking to someone, I gave him like a B, because you didn't get any reps, you didn't get anything, they threw you in the fire. And then look how the veterans act around him.
Yeah.
He has conversations and everything else. Like, they like him as who he is as a quarterback. So I give him credit for that. But going back to all these other quarterbacks, and you say, I don't see him as a 1st round draft pick. I mean, who the hell do you see as a 1st round draft pick? Because if you go over the years,
Mhm.
I've seen quarterbacks. I'm like, why the hell you draft him? Because what did
Oh yeah.
everybody say? I mean, JJ McCarthy. We ain't seen him throw a football. Has
Yeah.
he thrown it over for 1,500 yards? Or has he ever? You show me a game where it was like he threw for 300-400 yards in the game to win it.
I think I might be able to. Give me you keep on your thing. I might be able
You
to.
no, Google it. It's cool. I mean, I'm being honest. Like I have it, and I'm talking about a contender. I ain't talking
Yeah.
about Indiana. It's a joke.
No,
Now.
no, no, no,
It's like,
no.
I'm just saying.
No, believe me, it's Michigan versus Ohio State. Let me make sure I'm right. I'm
Okay.
finding the right game. But
No, it's
he
fine.
did light him up in one of them. So let me.
If it was probably his first year because they ran a lot of mesh routes against Ohio State. I remember. I think it's the one. I didn't know it was him at quarterback. I wasn't
Yeah.
really so.
Uh,
But when you sit there and you say who's the first round quarterback, I mean it's hit and miss. I think he's just got a lot of criticism because of who his dad is, and his dad is very very vocal. He's older now. Think about it. Deion is old, so now he's wise, but he's all about. I mean, you know how old people are. They're 20 times better than what they really was.
Yeah.
When you tell the stories, but it was prime.
Yeah.
So he just lives up into that, and now everybody was like, he was like, oh, I didn't want to go there. Oh, he doesn't want to go to that place. He don't want to go to that place. Man, who else did that? Eli Manning did it.
Yep.
He told San Diego, I'm gonna go to y'all. Y'all suck.
Mm-hmm.
I just truly believe with Shador, I think they blackballed him for the simple fact of the matter, because who his dad is, and they didn't want to deal with that. Now, if you want to say, okay, he's not a first round draft pick, I mean that's fine. I mean, who cares? Because at the end of the day, and I still respect it. I hopefully I wish right now that somebody make a trade for him right now. I love to see the Raiders trade for him or whatever, and you just get out of Cleveland. I wouldn't even want to go to Cleveland because they don't know what they want to do. You got 8 quarterbacks and 2 first round draft picks. Why do you think they said Manning came out? He's not coming out this year. He ain't finna go into that mess. No. But to the question, it's I love what Shador brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
He brings hope. He brings belief. He's not as flashy he's not as talkative as his dad. Yeah. But if you watch him in practice, you watch him when people be mic'd up, or you watch him at the game, defensive players dapping him up and everything else. The rookies, they're all doing this on the pictures. Mm-hmm. Like and it's not like he's telling them to do it. I mean, he's just him. Yeah. So I mean, I think, and sometimes what people got to realize, that's what you need as a quarterback. He might not be great, but his attitude and how he motivates people, you make people want to come play with him. Go play wide receiver with him. I mean, after the game, even with Carolina, what did he do? He dapped up his old teammate. Yeah. And hugged him and was excited. Yeah. So I think those are things. And Myles Garrett, they just like the best of friends. Because they're always on the sideline joking and talking. Yeah. And that's what you need. Mm-hmm. That's what Cleveland needs. They need hope. Yeah. They need hope and belief. And he gives them, I think he gives them that opportunity. I mean, Joe Flacco doesn't give them hope.
No, he doesn't. Or Kenny Pickett.
Or Gabriel. They're decent quarterback, but Cleveland doesn't need a Patrick Mahomes. You need someone to just bring hope and belief.
Just steady the ship, basically, more than anything.
That's what I think that he brings. He's not going to give you nothing more than what he is. Yeah. He's not going to play, but he's not going to play outside of what he is as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't have him as a first round pick. And like you said, how people evaluate first round picks is also weird. Because like I said, you look at a few years ago when they drafted Zach Wilson 2nd overall. I'm like, this kid is not. He's not a number 2 overall quarter. No. Yeah. No.
because then now, if you, like you said, let's look at this. If Shador was at LSU with that talent, would they have made the college playoffs? Yes or no?
Probably.
I mean, so what other quarterback you said? Clemson. I mean, it's Clemson. You want to talk about you're in the ACC. Ain't that many? You got SMU.
Yeah, SMU and Miami. Those are your
That's
only
it.
two tough competition.
You want to bring Syracuse? Syracuse was good last year.
They were.
Okay, you can put them in there. But I mean, again, what Clemson quarterback? I just don't. I just look at it as, for me, when I look at a quarterback, it's your demeanor and what you bring to the table. It's not always about, are you the best athlete or
Right.
you have the best arm. And
Mhm.
that it's how can you motivate the 10 or the 21 people count the defense
Yeah.
to rally behind you
Yeah.
and back you. I mean, another perfect example, said it earlier about Bryce Young. They
Mhm.
rallied behind him.
Yeah.
Even though he was sit on the bench,
Mhm.
everybody rallied behind him. They was like, he's gonna be all right. He's gonna be this. And those are the things that you need
Yeah.
at that position.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree. Like I said, I wanted your thoughts because I'm like, I didn't have him 5th round. I didn't have him 1st round, but I didn't have him 5th round either. I'm like,
I mean, it's to each their own. Like I
yeah,
said, there's quarterbacks. I mean, I didn't have JJ nowhere near the first round. I didn't
the
have
same.
Indiana. What's old boy? I can't think his name for the Colts.
Oh, Anthony Richardson.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I didn't have him either. Like I said, that's where I always kind of laugh because I'm like again, I always feel like there's those guys that they reach. It's like, oh, they could be. You're
because they
right.
got
Anybody could be.
because
Anybody could be.
but that's the beauty of it, because they have a high ceiling,
Yep.
and sometimes you don't reach their ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you go look at it. Take Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I liked Tom Brady, and if you go back and you look at him in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
when the game was on the line, Tom Brady was the quarterback to drive the
Yep.
field.
Yep.
So that lets you know he knows how to win.
Yep.
He know how to compete. He know how to, so those things, it doesn't bother him. So
Yeah.
he know how to fight for it and do what I have sacrifice and be disciplined.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I look at Shador, it's one of those things. Okay, you hit rock bottom. My man, you was rock bottom. Like, you
Yep.
were rock bottom. Everybody talked about you and everything else, but
Mm-hmm.
you never complained. You never
Nope.
done anything. And now it's you're not the most talented kid, but you know how to get people to gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
And then again, you can take some of the best, like Lamar Jackson. He
Mm-hmm.
knows what he's good at, and he's not going outside of what he is.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes throwing the football, doing all that stuff. The things he's doing now, he did that in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he's still who he is. And a lot of times when you look at the draft, it's, oh, they got a big arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he can make all the throws. You hear that all the time when you come out the draft.
Yeah.
Like I said, you got guys throwing it, hitting the top of the ceiling. You got guys throwing it 95 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But get in the game, can't throw a 20-yard dig.
Yeah. Or honestly, you look at the guys, they're not as much as they used to be, but the guys that would do like the quarterback trick videos, like you said, 95 yards, can throw it and land it in like a trash can 95 yards away. Like, that's cool. But
Right.
where does that translate to as far as being in the game when you've got a guy covered or you've got defenders in your face and whatnot? So yeah, I always do laugh at kind of some like the draft grades. Like I said, I wouldn't have taken Jackson Dart 1st round because,
No.
again, I think just the fact that you had Lane Kiffin, you just had a talented offense that honestly you really didn't utilize. And the thing I really think is funny, and I don't know how much of if you have TikTok or anything like that, but there's a social media video going around there with John Gruden did a quarterback camp with Jackson Dart, and he kind of comes in, he's like, all right, man, look, you came from USC, you went to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, let me hear your snap count. Like, let me hear your cadence. He's like, all right, you ready? He's like, yeah. He just claps. John Gruden's like, that's it? Yeah. He's like, what do you like? What do you got? Show me, hurry up. He's like, oh, we call it purple. Okay, cool. Let me hear it. And it's just like double clap. And word for word, John Gruden was like, you're shitting me. Like that.
No. But
It's like, yeah, that leaves me with a lot of questions.
but a lot, I mean, and that's the thing, man. Like, football has gotten to the point to where we dumbed it down so much
Mm-hmm.
and we simplified. Like, and I'm not gonna do it on the air because I do coach, but we simplify like signals and
Yeah.
calls and everything because it's like because they don't watch football. They watch
Yeah.
TikTok, so they watch highlights. They watch YouTube. Like they don't
Yeah.
watch a true actual whole game. Watching the whole game is boring.
Yeah.
They so quick they start grabbing this and
Mhm.
scrolling. So a lot of guys they don't understand the game of football. And I'm talking about you're going out there, you're teaching the end zone, how many hashes, what these little lines mean,
Mm.
and everything where the ball can go be spotted. Like you have to teach all these things. I'm talking about high school kids.
Yeah. So do you think a lot of it now is kids have stopped trying to learn the game and now they're just trying to go kind of based off of like instinct and just kind of one of those like we'll kind of make it up as we go type thing as far as how they play and how they cover something?
I think I think it all depends on one your coach or your trainer. I think a lot of people are now so big on the movement and not understanding where the movement comes from.
Mm.
Because I deal with it now with kids. I know you watch TikTok. You seen the one when he go real slow. He talking about flow, flow. But in reality, and people was making fun of it. I'm like, but that's what a lot of receivers do. If
Yeah.
you watch their train, they just do it fast. It's the exact
Yeah,
same
it's just that
train.
that little shimmy and then
Yes,
that
yeah,
step
yeah.
to get
But
you to move.
and a lot of them, and it goes back to is like, so why do you do that?
Right.
I don't know. It seems cool. Like, why do you do a hezzy and all these? Like, you do all this stuff because one, you see it on YouTube, you see professional athletes just doing footwork drills and everything, and you're like, oh, I want to do it as well. But no one really knows the reason of why. Why do I stick like this? Why do I run like this? And
Yeah.
I think that's where the issues are. It's because sometimes you're dancing and the guy's
Mhm.
8 yards off. Just freaking run.
Yeah.
Just run.
Right.
And I think that's where it comes. That's the issue now. It's I want to be fast, I want to be quick, but I want to be stylish
Yeah.
because I want the oohs and ahs. What does the oohs and ahs get you? It gets you your money
Yeah.
because you trying to get this NIL deal, you trying to get this and everything else. So you do all this crazy stuff and embarrassing people,
Yeah.
so you can get the more money you can. That's but in reality of it is if you take a kid that is talented, that is fast, that is athletic, and you teach them the rules of the game of football, oh,
Mhm.
they're unstoppable.
Right. Yeah, I was funny enough. And we'll kind of end it with this. One of the things I was talking about in a group chat that I'm in is that the art of like you remember how Ed Reed like he was a true defensive mastermind because like and I know you've probably seen the interviews and the clips and whatnot with him and Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like I hated playing against Ed Reed because like you said, he understood the game of football. He's like, okay,
Yeah,
you're gonna go here. I know you're doing here. And it was a chess match. I feel like now that is so lost on the defensive side of the ball anymore, where it's like pretty much, nope, I'm a pass rusher. All I do is I go get quarterback. I don't care about anything else back here. If you know it, cool. If not, I'm not really worried about it.
yeah,
And yeah, I know I do agree. To me, I see it on the field because it's like, man, that's an art skill that's lost because you don't have those stud linebackers that stand out anymore. The Ray Lewis's, the Luke Kuechly's, like you don't have those guys like just as
no,
equally smart on the defense as you do on the offense anymore.
no. I'm no. I mean, and how the NFL set it up is more geared towards the offense. But
Yeah,
like you said, you don't have football hasn't changed. It's always been the same.
yeah,
And people you just got to pay attention to it.
mhm,
There's no secret to football.
yeah,
The only difference is they might run a motion, but the routes are the same from
right,
NFL to college. The running, either you're a zone team or a gap team, or you could be both. They're still exactly the same.
right,
But a lot of it is when you think of defensive players nowadays, a lot of them, and I say a lot, and I'm speaking more towards high school because college is a little bit different because you have the hours of the mental.
yeah,
They don't understand the gaps that everybody has a gap they're supposed to hold.
right,
Sometimes that guy at linebacker, I'm just bigger, faster, stronger than everybody, and I
right,
just go. And you have that, but
yeah,
that's cool at high school, but it doesn't. It catch up with you in college when everybody on the field is big and fast and strong.
yep. Yeah.
So, but I mean, like I said, nowadays, even it's the, I want to be fast, I want to be big, but a lot of people don't take the time to teach these kids and understand the game of football.
Yeah.
Because guess what? No matter how you look at it, cover 2 is going to be cover 2, cover 3 is going to be cover 3, man is going to be man.
Yeah.
And those are the things that people don't look at, because, like I said, I'm an offensive coach, and I say more about offense is how you play. I run my route.
Right.
I run my route off of certain guys by the
Yeah.
coverages. You got 2 safeties high. What is that? That's 2. That's 4 for sure. So I know if this outside linebacker or rover, he's run. He has a zone. What's his zone? Hook the curl the flat. It's one of the 2.
Yeah.
And the corner's going to tell you exactly what it is. So now that shows you how I run my routes. That shows you how I attack. That shows you how the quarterback, how I'm supposed to make my reads.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the thing I think that's missing out of football, and it's more so on the defensive side.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, because like you said, I with kids and guys that just come out there like, oh, I'll just be bigger and faster and stronger than the next guy. Like, you're right. But like you said, if you just added a little bit of like the mental part of like, okay, if I do this, this is where the wide receiver is going to go. And either I can break that pass up. I can, and I know sometimes with defense, it's like anything. It's a 50-50 shot. Maybe you pick it off, and maybe you get burned. Like then that's anything.
But that's the beauty of like I said, the human nature part. Because offensively, I have one guy in front of you, and I will throw another guy into the flats. Yeah. Depending if your coach says that guy, that running back that's going into the flats, he's a bad boy, you're going to trigger to him. I can hit this guy right here at a hitch all day. Yeah. And then guess what happens? You're going to stop on the hitch. I'm going to give it out to this boy in the flats. I'm going to say, hey, go do what you do. Yeah. Like that's the mental aspect from coaching and everything else, where you have to tell kids and play and adults, hey, what are your rules? Right. My rule is this and this and that. So all it is offensively is I'm just trying to get you out of your rules. Right. And see how patient can you be? Because if you're not patient, I'm going to eat you up alive.
Right. 100%. Well, Coach, it has been fun, good sir. As always, love always talking sports with you and picking your brain and hearing your thoughts on stuff and whatnot. So I appreciate it. Hopefully get you on soon. Mike actually messaged me. He thinks all 3 of us should do a football show on a regular basis when the season comes around.
Come on, man. Tell Mike, man, that's my boy. Okay. Number love for Mike, man. We gotta link up.
I'll definitely do that, sir. But I appreciate everybody tuning in, by the way. If everybody liked this, please give Military Broadcast Radio, NBR.US look up. Like I said, they do everything for veterans. They help teach classes on how to do podcasting, help veterans get confidence, whatnot. They'll even go as far as to hook veterans up with equipment as far as being able to get their shows and whatnot started, get them up and running so that their voices as veterans can be heard and whatnot. And obviously we have a great slew of hosts on this network as well. But again, appreciate Coach for coming out. Good, sir. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope everybody has a good week. A little bit of a special edition of Inside the Hoosier Mind, since I wasn't on Tuesday. My internet service just decided that it wasn't going to work Tuesday. So we had to do it today. But again, appreciate everybody coming out, and we will see y'all next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.